Hello techies. Welcome to our brand new video series focused on helping you get the most of your experiences in life. Before we start the video, let's know about Upptalk. Upptalk is a live, interactive platform for software training, furnishing robust personalities who could take on universal business platforms.
If grades will have profiles, then the best practice is to set up the grade with the default pay range of 0. Establish all the possible ranges for that grade in the profiles, right? So if you are going to have this kind of a complicated scenario managers, there are some managers in the US, some managers in the UK, some in India, then in the grade, instead of trying to figure out. Okay, is it $50,000 in the 10,000 rupees? It's 10 lakh rupees or 4,000 pounds. No need to bother, just put it as 0. You don't define a range at all. And then, where do you define the range in the grade profile? That's the point. So grade profile is a subset of the grade. You do it there, and leave the range in the grid. As Black got it, does it make a little bit more sense now? Yes, okay. Now one more thing is that, how do you assign the compensation grade to the worker, right? We have to assign the compensation grade to a particular worker. So you can do that using two ways. One is by directly attaching it to the job profile. Remember, when we were creating the job profile, we had the option of a compensation grade, and I had left it blank saying that we will do it when we do compensation, right? So you have a place there in the job profile where you can directly associate the compensation grade, saying that, okay, this is my manager. This is my management level. These are the job responsibilities, etc. etc. Here is the compensation grade. Grade is a range of 3, so you define the range of pay there is. Well, that is one way of doing it, and it is a recommended way. If I want make sure that if I want to yard in the time of that time I should be. I did not get the question if I want to add that in the beginning while creating profile. So if I want to add there, so I should be having some grade for grade also here. No, so yeah, you cannot add. First you need to create the grid. Then you can add it in the job profile. Yes, the grade should be there. Yeah, correct, the grid has to exist. Otherwise, what will you add to the job? So that's why I left it blank when I did the job profile. Alright, so now we will create the grid and grade profile, and then we will add it back to the job. Okay, so now you see, there are two ways of adding the compensation grade to your worker, right? One is you directly associate it with the job profile. That is a recommended approach and should be considered while creating your job profiles, right? The other way is if you cannot directly associate with the job profile. Let's say it is a bit more complicated than that. It is not one-to-one with the job profile. Then what do? Then you can use eligibility rules to determine which compensation grade to use. Okay, so you can associate a compensation eligibility rule with a grade, and you can say that, yeah, this is how you are going to identify which compensation grade to use. Got it? Two ways of doing it, directly associated with the job profile, or you do it using eligibility rules. Okay. Now let's create one compensation grade. We will just start doing that. We will continue in tomorrow's session, where we talk about it in a bit more detail. Let me create a job profile great quickly. I will cancel this out. The task to create a compensation grade is create compensation grade. Okay, that is the task. Create compensation grade. Okay, so I will call it as let's use today's state. Okay, you see the option to use a grade profile. There is an option. It is not that you will always use compensation grade profiles. Now it asks you, do you want to add to? You want to use grade profiles? If you select yes, then only it will ask you to create the grade profile. So this is optional. You may use grade profiles. You may not use it. Alright now. What are these paid range segments? Now it is quite common in organizations etc. to run some reports based on where people are within a pay range. Right, so a range is it can be a big range. You see, here the ranges that we have defined are quite big ranges, 50,000 to 80,000. Now, how are the people? How are the managers in the US? Distributed amongst this 50,000 to 80,000, do we have, let's say we have managers in the US? Right. Between 50 to 60,000, we have 10 managers. Between 60 to 70,000, we have 20 managers. Between 70 to 75,000, we have 5. And between 75 and 80,000, we have 2. Okay, now, does this help you to do a better analysis about how your managers are getting paid? If I break it down into sub-segments and then tell you that, okay, these are how my employees are getting paid, this is a better for statistical analysis, right? So whenever an organization wants to understand the way it is paying its employees, it is always better to pay. I mean to break it down into this kind of meaningful data. So how? How is this organization paying its managers? Is it paying it high or is it paying it low? What do you think? It is being low. Most of it are like between. If you look at the top end of the segment $80,000, there are very few people near the top right. Only 5 or maybe 7 people are there who are more than $70,000. The majority of the people are making less than $70,000. Right? That's what they are doing. And what is the midpoint of this particular pay range? What is the midpoint? Of this range, 50 to 80, let's say the $65,000 right, the arithmetic average. So are we saying that a lot of the people, most of the people, are either around the midpoint or lower than the midpoint? Can we say that right? The people who are 60 to 70? They are very close to the $65,000, correct? Maybe some of them are actually at $65,000. And then these people, the 10 people, they are definitely below $65,000, isn't it? So I mean, of the vast majority of people are either at the midpoint or below the midpoint. So this organization is paying a bit low right now. Let's reverse this, let's reverse this and make it something like this. Now, what do you think? I just changed the numbers now. What do you think? It's the organization paying a lot more, or is it still paying a lot less? You see, most of the managers are towards the high end of the range. So what should the organization do if it wants to shuffle the workforce? So the organization, when it looks at this kind of a data, the management knows that, okay, either some of these people, 27 people, are in the $70,000 to $80,000 range. That means maybe we have to promote some of these people to the next level, right? Or maybe we have to let some of these people go because our cost is becoming too high. So if this organization wants to get rid of some of its unproductive managers, let's say, which peering segment will it target? Where should it start? I use start looking for underperformers right here. Correct. $75,000 to $80,000. 12.
Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us at sales@therateuptalk.com.